Welcome to Brit News Channel. If you enjoy staying updated with the latest news, make sure to subscribe and activate the notification.
Storm Bert has caused devastating floods across the UK, leaving hundreds of homes and businesses underwater and prompting criticism of both weather forecasters and government leaders. As communities grapple with the aftermath, questions are being raised about the adequacy of warnings and the effectiveness of flood prevention measures. Concerns over weather warnings. South Wales, one of the areas hardest hit by the storm, has seen growing complaints about the Met Office's decision to issue only a yellow weather warning. Residents and local leaders argue that a higher-level amber or red warning could have prompted better preparedness. Many also criticised the Welsh government for not implementing sufficient flood defences since similar storms wreaked havoc 4 years ago. A Met Office spokesperson defended its approach. Storm Bert was well forecast 48 hours in advance, with multiple warnings issued. These highlighted the potential for homes and businesses to flood, as well as dangers from fast-flowing or deep water. A full review of our forecasting and warning strategy will be conducted with partners in the coming days. Severe impacts across the country. The storm brought winds of up to 82 miles per hour, transforming roads into rivers and causing landslips in areas like Tillary, Blaenau Gwent, where evacuations were carried out. By Monday morning, more than 170 flood warnings remained active in England and Wales, including 3 severe warnings for the River Monnow in Monmouthshire and the River Nene in Northamptonshire. Rhondda Cynon Taf was particularly hard hit, with more than 150 millimeters of rain falling in just 24 hours. Local leaders estimate that between 200 and 300 properties were affected, while thousands of residents were advised to boil water due to sediment contamination at a treatment facility. Political leaders respond. Welsh First Minister Eluned Morgan called the weekend a really difficult time for those impacted by the storm. While significant investments have been made in flood defences since the last major storm, this remains a devastating blow for affected families just before Christmas, she said. Deputy First Minister Hugh Irranca-Davies highlighted record spending on flood prevention, but acknowledged the limits of such efforts. We cannot protect every single home or business. These extreme weather events are becoming a pattern. Criticism came from opposition parties as well. Heled Fichan of Plaid Cymru argued that lessons from the 2020 storms, including Ciara and Dennis, had not been adequately learned. This weekend's events show communities remain exposed to the weather's mercy without sufficient mitigating measures, she said. Andrew R.T. Davies, leader of the Welsh Conservatives, questioned the appropriateness of a yellow warning for such severe conditions and called for a review of past lessons to better protect areas like Pontypridd. The role of climate change. Natural Resources Wales has long urged a tripling of flood defence funding to address the growing impacts of climate change. Spokesperson Sian Williams noted that while rainfall was more intense in some localised areas than expected, the storm's stationary nature exacerbated the flooding. Andrew Morgan, leader of Rhondda Cynon Taf Council, voiced frustration over the Met Office's warning system. During Storm Dennis, amber warnings were issued in advance, and red warnings followed. That approach needs to be reviewed urgently, he said. The Met Office clarified its criteria, stating yellow warnings are issued when low-level impacts, such as minor travel disruptions, are likely, whereas amber and red warnings are reserved for more severe threats. Tragedies and disruptions. The storm claimed 2 lives over the weekend. In North Wales, 75-year-old Brian Perry was found dead after going missing while walking his dog near the river Afon Conwy. In Lancashire, a man in his 80s died after his car entered floodwaters at a ford in Foulridge. Transport systems were heavily disrupted, with rail passengers advised to avoid travel due to flooding and fallen trees. Services between Broxbourne and Stansted Airport were halted after fallen trees damaged overhead electrical wires, and no trains ran through Northampton due to the River Nene bursting its banks. Southern Railway warned of cancellations across southeast England, and Great Western Railway's suspended services on key routes. Meanwhile, power outages affected about 350,000 homes, though most have since been restored. Recovery efforts and the road ahead. Cleanup operations are underway, but lingering rain from higher ground continues to flow into rivers, threatening to hinder recovery efforts. Emergency services and local councils are working to clear blocked roads and provide support to affected communities.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.